Theatrical Shenanigans with
Robert Weibezahl.
Hello there, and welcome to another episode in our fifth season of Theatrical Shenanigans. I'm your host, Rachel Feeney Williams, and I'm so glad you could join me in my little corner of Devon for another audio play and guest to chat to. Speaking of which, my guest today is Southern California based playwright who's had plays performed in 21 states and internationally in the UK and Australia. He's had multiple honours and had multiple works published by Next Stage Press and Smith & Krause. He has worked in various production capacities on feature films and television movies, was a book publicist, published 2 novels and 2 non-fiction books, and numerous short stories. He was also a monthly review columnist for Bookpage for 20 years and was a champion on Jeopardy! And if all that wasn't enough, he currently teaches remotely at universities from Hawaii to Vermont. He did also find time in his very busy schedule to be a panellist back in 2024 on the panel Present, and it's great to have him here again. Welcome, Robert Weibezahl.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you for inviting me today.
It's a thrill to have you here. So, you have had and are still having an absolutely amazing journey, but what actually got you started in the arts world?
I was introduced to it when I was fairly young. Well, I decided I wanted to be a writer when I was in junior high, or what's now called middle school. One of my teachers was very encouraging, and I started writing, and the things that people write at that age, little poems and little stories and that sort of thing. But I didn't really do any dramatic writing back then. And then I really got involved in theater in high school when I had always sung in choruses and things, but I was kind of corralled into being into a production of How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying in my high school. And then I fell in love with it and continued to do shows in high school and then in college. But um, it wasn't a career. It was
Mm.
just sort of an avocation, as it were. But I was also a huge theater fan because I grew up in suburban New York City.
Mm.
And so, like anyone who grows up in outside London as well, who has the opportunity from an early age to, get on the train and go in and see a matinee when you're still 14, 15 years old. I saw some pretty amazing shows back then. So that was the beginning, I guess, of my love of the theater, as it were.
And of course, you come with a variety of hats just in the writing field alone, from obviously plays, short stories, novels, as you mentioned before, poetry. Do you have a preferred style of writing, or is it just all writing that you love?
Well, I think now I could very, very honestly say that dramatic writing, writing for the theater is my first love, and it's what I spend most of my time doing, probably 95% of my time doing. Finding that I have this, whether we call it a talent or whether we just call it a love for writing plays, and that I've had some success, um, has really encouraged me to sort of just focus mostly on that. And I think it's something that I discovered. I think my strengths as a writer have always been characterization and dialogue. And I think those are two very central things to dramatic writing. Obviously, other things are important too, but
Mm.
um, i- they're really skills that I've been able to use. So, I consider myself now primarily a playwright
Mm.
who occasionally dabbles in some other forms of writing.
Mm. But I got to know your collection through New Play Exchange, as we get to know so many. And you have just this brilliant collection of work. Do you have preferred topics you prefer to write about, or genres you like to write in, or is it just a little bit of everything?
Looking at my work, I think a lot of it concerns the past. A lot of it concerns characters' relationships with the past. For example, a full-length play that I just had produced in by Playwrights Roundtable in Orlando, Florida, this past April, called Ghosts of Glencolum Kill, is about 5 people who reunite, 5 50-year-olds who reunite 30 years after they were students together in Ireland. And there's a big, big, big dramatic secret, but there's a lot of little secrets and a little connections to the past to the play out in the play. So um, I think that's probably where a lot of my work ends up. Even my comic work, and I don't write a lot of comic work, but I think even a lot of my comic work tends to lean towards that. I'd like to break out of that actually, and I've been trying to consciously write plays that are not about people dealing with the past. So um, hopefully, I can move forward.
And then, if all of that wasn't enough, you were also the co-founder and co-producing artistic director of a production company where you recouped many more titles in addition to your ones as writer. What made you decide that the production side was something you wanted to explore, and what was your favorite part about doing that?
Yeah, that grew out of I was doing a lot of community theater in my community, and I became very good friends with another actor of a certain age, like me, who, we both sort of felt um, that the opportunities weren't out there so much for in our community for older actors and for doing plays that don't get done so much. I'm talking about plays that have played on Broadway or the West End maybe 20 years ago, but people have forgotten about them. But they're
Mm.
really fine plays. Um, so that was kind of our mission to sort of do things that weren't being done so much. We did mostly small scale musicals because we had a pretty small space. But uh, it was like any community theater. Everybody had to sort of roll up their sleeves and do things. So
Mm.
directed a little, which I'm not really a director at. Directing is not really my thing, but I did direct the first show, and that's when I really started writing plays.
So, what does the rest of the year look like for you? Do you have an idea what it would look like? Do you have anything on the horizon?
My new play Discards has been selected by the Sauk Theater in Michigan for their plays and development program, and they bring the playwright in. They pay the
Wow.
expenses and bring the playwright in for a week. So that is going to be really exciting because I'll be sitting in on rehearsals and making changes, and then at the end of the week we'll have a public reading of the play. So that's the big thing that's coming up. I also have a number of 10-minute plays that have been chosen for uh, a couple of things. And I have a couple of other podcast play uh, productions coming up. One, George Sapio's on stage, off stage podcast is going to be doing one of my plays, and a program based out of Los Angeles. Um, uh, called Premiere the Play is doing my longer one act. It's an hour-long one act called Out of the Woods. So yeah, it's been a very good year for me. Um,
Going to be a very busy rest of the year for you, by the sounds of things.
yes, well, it was a busy spring. It's a little less busy moving forward, but oh, and I do have one other play, a full-length play that a friend of mine, who I know from my theater world days, is directed in the spring here locally in the Los Angeles area. And they're reviving that at a different theater, but with the same cast. And yeah, it's been a pretty amazing year. I can't deny that.
Um, and finally, as always, what is your standout moment? A moment that makes you think this is why I do what I do.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this question because I know you always ask it. Um, and my mind sort of went back to one particular moment when I was first really writing plays, and that was, gee, it's almost 10 years ago now. I wrote a play about Mary Shelley and the writing of Frankenstein, which is called And Lightning Struck, and it was a commission. It was a friend of mine from the theater community asked me to write it for a company she had called Lit Live. They did literature related plays. Um, and I wrote it, and I remember, and so it was really the first play I ever had a full production of. I had had readings of plays and that sort of thing. And I still very vividly remember sitting in the audience during, I guess it was a dress rehearsal, or we were in the theater, so one of the last rehearsals. And there was a scene between young Mary Shelley and Percy Shelley, a love scene basically. And I wrote this scene, and I remember sitting there watching it, and the actors were wonderful. And I really had this out of body moment where I thought, did I write this?
Mm,
It was just so, I mean, not to brag, but it was just so lovely and moving
mm.
in that this moment in the play. And I still remember, really, it was really like out of body. And then I saw every performance of the play that followed, and um, that was just again, every time it was just a special moment in the play. And I've had that happen, and I'm sure you have too, with other things I've written since and other things that have been produced since. But I think that's really, for me, was a seminal moment in continuing on and wanting to keep writing plays.
So now we move on to talking about our playwright and play for this episode. Donald Loftus is a New York City-based playwright, librettist, and lyricist who's had work performed on stages in the United States, the United Kingdom, India, Australia, and Sweden. He's had many productions of his work, including at Cincinnati LAB Theatre's New Works Festival, the Colorado New Musical Festival, and the NYC's Emerging Artists Spark Theatre. Donald's play we'll hear today is called Nightlight and was inspired by a sad notice he read in the New York Times about the cancellation of a show a few years ago during COVID. In the play we meet Charlie and Jimmy, and Donald describes the play thus. On a cold winter night, a gruff night watchman at the Broadway Theatre reluctantly shelters a young homeless chorus boy, and through their shared love of the stage they form an unexpected bond that rekindles hope and humanity in the darkness. Theatrical Shenanigans presents Nightlight by Donald Loftus.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
What the hell?
Hello?
Goodbye.
Can anybody hear me?
Hear you. Holy cannoli, they can hear you up in Harlem.
Is anybody there?
No, go away. No one is here. We are closed.
What?
We're closed.
Yes, I know,
The
but
show closed. The theater's, what you call, dark.
No, but you don't understand. Just you need
No, you don't understand, you numbskull. Now go away.
Charlie?
What?
Charlie, it's me. Jimmy.
Who?
Jimmy.
Jimmy? I don't know no Jimmys.
I'm in the chorus.
You're in the chorus of what?
Well, I was in the chorus of West Side Story.
Well, the show's closed. But if you was in the chorus, you ought to know that.
Yes, I do know, but
Okay, good then. Good night.
but I was in it before it closed.
Yeah, tough luck, kid.
I'm anxious.
Yes, you sound anxious.
No, I mean I play anxious, or rather, I played anxious before the show shut down.
Anxious? I don't remember no anxious. Snowboy, mouthpiece Arab, these I know, but I don't know no anxious.
Okay, maybe you know me as Chorus Boy 7.
Chorus Boy 7? So's now you're Chorus Boy 7.
Well, not now, but before. I mean, when the show was still running. I was Chorus Boy 7, that's how the director referred to me.
What, he couldn't call you by your name?
It was okay, I didn't mind, it was just...
Hey, zappity prima donna directors these days.
Well, I didn't have any lines.
You were still in his company.
It was a small part, there's really no...
Hey, kid, there are no small parts.
So they say.
In fact, now, there are no parts, period, because we're closed.
Right.
So please, go on home now, anxious boy.
No, wait.
We're done here, kid.
Charlie, please.
Look, kid, it ain't gonna happen.
Could you please open the door?
No,
But it's freezing out here.
no, I am not gonna open this door for a total stranger.
But we're not strangers. You know me.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, you do. I'm the chorus kid who stuck around to watch you do your card tricks each night.
You did?
Yes, every night. You even showed me how some of the tricks were done.
The little kid with the curly hair and the big smile. I do remember you.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, those other chorus punks raced out each night, but you stayed to watch.
I'm so glad you remember, Charlie.
I appreciated that.
Yes. So could you please open the door?
No, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to open the door for anyone.
Charlie, please.
Kid, I can't.
Just a few minutes, just till I warm up.
No, please, leave me be now.
Come on, I'm begging you.
Okay, but just for 1 minute, until you're warm.
Okay, thank you.
Hold on just a minute, I gotta find the key.
No problem.
Where is that? Hold on. It's dark as pitch in here. Okay, come in, but just for a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Oh my God, you're shivering.
Yes, I know.
Your lips are blue.
I'm freezing.
Damn. Here. Put this around you.
You sure?
Yeah, I know it looks pretty seedy, but
No, I didn't mean to.
I promise you won't catch anything from it, and it's warm.
Thank you, Charlie.
Feeling better?
Yes, I can almost feel my toes again.
Well, that's a start.
This place is kind of creepy at night. It's so dark.
It was darker a minute ago. You know, I did something tonight I have never done before.
What's that?
I turned off that nightlight, the lamp there at center stage.
You mean the ghost light is? I believe it's called a ghost light.
I know what it's called. I prefer not to think of ghosts being all alone here. To me, it's a nightlight. Anyway, I just thought, what's the point of keeping it burning? I mean, the theater's empty. The theater isn't gonna have anything going on, probably for months.
I know, but isn't that supposed to be bad luck in the theater?
I guess.
I mean, they say the ghost light's function is to chase away the mischievous spirits, the ghosts that are said to inhabit virtually every theater in the world.
Again with the ghosts. Theatrical folks are superstitious lot, huh? Wishing actors a broken leg instead of good luck. Avoid whistling backstage and being careful not to say I mean, the Scottish play. And they do say turning off the ghost light will bring bad luck, but considering where we are these days, I figured how much worse could it get.
I totally get it.
But that, of course, was before you came pounding at the door.
Jeez, thanks.
So, what's going on with all this?
What do you mean?
You dress like it's summertime.
Yeah, I know.
So what the hell is wrong with you?
Where to begin?
Are you trying to catch a death?
No, I just don't have any clothes for this weather.
What? You didn't see it coming?
Yes, but
It's freaking March in New York City. It's always colder than a penguin's pecker.
I only recently came up from Wickenburg. I'm not...
Wiccan what?
Wickenburg, a small hot town in Arizona.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, no reason you would have. It's just a small town in the middle of nowhere.
A small, hot town.
Yeah, it's like 80 degrees there tonight.
Hard to imagine.
Anyway, I've only recently left there, so I don't really have many clothes appropriate for this weather.
Well, you are gonna get sick running around like that.
Yes, I suppose so.
Why are you even out on such a night? There's a curfew. You can get in a lot of trouble.
My landlord threw me out.
He what?
Padlocked the door.
Oh, he can't do that.
And yet he did. And he's keeping whatever belongings I do have as collateral for the back rent, including my only warm jacket.
Damn. He sounds like a real heartless prick.
Well, truth be told, I was already behind in my rent, and then when the show closed, he said it was the last straw.
That's horrible.
Yeah, well...
So, are you going back to Wackenburg?
Wickenburg. No, I can't.
Why the hell not? Nothing happening here.
I have no money. I can't afford bus fare to Brooklyn, let alone Arizona.
Maybe your folks could send you some, like a wire transfer.
I just have my mom, and she has less money than me.
Well, I'm I'm sorry.
Besides, it would break her heart.
What would?
She was so proud of me getting to a Broadway show.
Well, that's certainly understandable.
It has been a dream that she and I have shared since I was a kid.
That's kind of nice that you could share a dream like that.
I think she originally probably wanted it for herself in the early days, but once she realized it wasn't going to happen for her, she decided to devote her efforts to see that someday it would happen for me.
What about your dad?
What about him?
Was he cool with all of this?
My dad left us when I was 7.
Oh, my.
I never saw him again.
Jeez, I'm sorry, kid.
He ran off with some floozy.
A floozy, huh?
Yeah, floozy. That was my mom's word for her.
Oh, your poor mom.
Oh, it never slowed her down. My mom's a toughie, and she's incredibly loving.
I can tell you love her very much.
How can you tell?
Yeah, I can see it in your eyes. And I can hear it in your voice.
It's just that she spent every day since my dad walked out on us taking care of me, looking out for me, trying to help me see my dream come true. Our dream.
She sounds amazing.
When I was a kid, in addition to her day job, she would take in laundry at night, just so I could afford to go to dance classes.
She sounds like quite a woman.
Yes, she is. And she does love me. And so, when I got the part on Broadway, she lit up like a marquee.
She sure did. That's understandable.
It would break her heart to see where I have ended up. I would have never believed the show would have closed so fast.
Oh, no one expected it. It got rave reviews.
I know. That's why it was so surprising.
It just goes to show the power of the stars. When that Mr. Big Shot movie star playing Tony quit over artistic differences with the director. Ha! Artistic differences. The difference was the director wanted him to act, and the actor had no talent for it. I saw it coming.
Yeah, ticket sales plummeted once he was gone. And then it got even worse when Maria quit. I guess to be supportive of Tony.
Well, sure they were star-crossed lovers. And now they're in a major legal battles with the producers. But your mother must have known about this. It's been all over the airwaves. They must have even heard about it, even all the way back in Wackybird.
Wickenburg. Yes, but I've convinced her it is just temporary and that I'm doing fine. I cannot let her know about
But you
it.
do know it's not temporary. The show is done.
Yes, I do know. I just can't let her know.
So what are you gonna do?
I don't know.
Is there a friend you
No,
can...
I have no friends.
How is that possible?
I've been in rehearsals every minute since I arrived. I haven't had time to make friends.
Where you gonna stay?
Well, that's just it.
What is?
I was hoping I could stay here.
What? Here? No, that's not possible.
But no one would have to know. I just...
Forget about it.
No, but really...
No, but really, get that idea right out of your head.
But the theater is closed.
That's right. It is.
You're the only one here.
Exactly.
No one would have to know.
No, I'm sorry. That is just not gonna happen.
But I have nowhere else to go.
There must be some way.
No, there's not. Why can't you just let me do this? I swear I won't be a problem.
Look, if I tell you something, you gotta promise to tell no one.
Okay.
No, really. I mean it. If I help you out, you gotta promise me. And not just for now. You gotta promise me you will never.
Okay, I promise. Never ever. What is it?
I am the night watchman here, but I also live here.
What do you mean?
I also got thrown out nearly 20 years ago, but not by a heartless landlord. I got thrown out by a heartless wife. So I moved in here, and no one has ever been the wiser.
Whoa, that's awful.
Huh. It was at the time.
Why would she do that to you?
It wasn't her fault. Oh, yeah, she was awful, but I was worse.
What do you mean? What did you do?
Yeah, I was not exactly faithful.
Ah, floozies.
And I was a bit of a drinker to boot. The marriage was doomed from day one.
I'm sorry.
When she kicked me out, well, I was working here. But not making enough to get a place of my own. Oh, not with the child support I had to pay.
You've got a kid?
Yeah, not so much a kid anymore. She's nearly 22.
She's beautiful.
She is, isn't she? Her name's Maria.
Maria, say it loud and there's music playing.
Kind of ironic, right? And like your mom is proud of you, I am very proud of her. She's just finishing her senior year at Yale Drama.
Yale? Wow.
Like you, she wants to be an actor. God only knows why.
That's fantastic, but Yale, it's so expensive.
Crazy expensive.
Are you paying her tuition?
Huh, not on a salary. No. She got a scholarship. But I do send her what I can.
Does she know? I mean, about you? About you living here?
Does she know her pops is homeless? No. As I said, no one knows. Except me and now you.
Wow.
Yep. The fact that I have lived here in the basement of the Broadway Theatre for nearly 20 years without anyone knowing it is a wow, I suppose.
But why are you telling me? I mean, after all these years?
I think now, more than ever, we all need to do what we can to help each other. The world's in a mess. Maybe the worst I've ever seen in it. I see you're in deep trouble. I want to help you.
You do?
Yeah. You can stay here. No one will ever have to know.
I think I'm going to start crying.
Go on, then. Cry.
No, I'm okay.
Go on. This is a theater. We're supposed to, feel free to express our emotions in this particular cathedral.
Yeah, I guess so.
The other reason I'm helping you is because of my Maria.
What do you mean?
When she comes to New York, she too will struggle. All actors do. All artists do.
More than I could have ever imagined.
I hope she ever found herself in your situation. Someone will help her too.
Charlie, I cannot tell you how much this means to me.
There are unused dressing rooms in the basement.
I never even knew there was a basement.
Nobody knows it. And no one remembers the dressing rooms that are down there. They're from back in the day when shows had casts of 60 or 70, stage full of chorus girls.
And how do you get down there?
The door to the basement? Right behind those flats at stage left. I use the men's dressing room. You can use the women's. It'll need to be cleaned out, though. It's kind of a mess right now, but there's a couch to sleep on, and it's warm down there because you'll be near the furnace.
I can't believe this.
Still a little surprised myself.
Charlie, I will never forget this day.
You mean this night? It's nearly midnight.
Yes, this night. Tonight.
Tonight won't be just any night.
Tonight you became my morning star.
Tonight.
You've saved my life tonight.
And for us, stars will stop where they are.
Thank you, Charlie.
My pleasure, friend. Here's to better times.
To better times.
Well, I think we all need a Charlie in our lives. That was Darren Ingram as Charlie and Kenny Hertling as Jimmy in Nightlight by Donald Loftus. So, Robert, what did you think?
It's really a Valentine to the theater, isn't it? It's a a love letter to all of us who do this crazy art form in one way or another. It just captures so much about why theater, question mark.
Yeah.
So really, really lovely.
The more I read it, the more I listened to it, there were so many points of subtext. So when Charlie's talking about turning off the ghost light, but just before that, Jimmy says, obviously, it's dark in here, and Charlie says it was darker a minute ago. And initially, when you first read that, you think, oh, because of the latter comment he makes about the ghost light. But then when you realize where their relationship's going and what Charlie's going to do for this young man, he is like a light who has come into his life. Because Charlie's probably been sat in the dark on his own, night after night for, years. Because no one is aware he's here. And now he does have a kind of light to share the moments with. And I think it's a beautiful simile between the two and the dialogue.
There's kind of a fantasy fairy tale quality. Charlie's like the gatekeeper, right? He's like,
Mm.
in so many fairy tales, he's like, I'm thinking of the trolls and the three Billy Goats Gruff or something. It's up to him whether to let in
Yeah.
Jimmy, he's going to change Jimmy's life. Maybe not in the sense of Jimmy ever becoming a star or something, but Jimmy has found this friend in this sort of cold and heartless city, right? He says at one point he doesn't have any friends because he's been too busy.
Mm.
Uh, and I think we know by the end of the play that he and Charlie are going to be friends, and on top of the fact that Jimmy now has a roof over his head and is not going to be homeless. So yeah, there's this very magical quality to it, and I think the ghost light adds to that. The hints that the theaters are haunted, as it were, and even all the stuff, the fact that there are these underground dressing rooms that nobody uses anymore. It's a very magical world, and I think anyone who loves the theater would like to believe that a theater, especially an old time theater like this in New York or the theaters in the West End, have this. They are haunted, but I don't mean that in a bad way. They're
Yeah.
haunted by this very rich and beautiful tradition. So,
Mm.
and that all kind of comes through, but in a very subtle way, which is nice.
Mm. And with Charlie as well, there are so many layers because initially you get the impression that he's just a gruff, cranky old man. And then you see him kind of start to feel sorry for Jimmy and for his situation. And then you realize that Charlie himself is in fact flawed for, the way things went with his wife and how he's ended up here in the first place. And then he, as you say, he comes through at the end by extending this sort of hand of friendship to Jimmy. So you've got a wonderfully three-dimensional character in both Charlie and Jimmy, to be fair. And I think the characters that when I was at university, I would have loved to have hot seat these characters, where you just, sit a character in a chair and ask them anything and everything. And I think you could pull a lot of information out of actors playing Charlie and Jimmy because of what the playwright has given you in the script itself.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, they both have so much backstory that's not even, literally explored in the play,
Mm.
particularly Charlie because he's older.
Mm.
And in a way, they're kind of one of the sweet things about the play is that they're both kind of misfits, right? I mean that literally, they don't fit in. And they find each other and they find each other in the world of theater, which, right, that's a world full of misfits, myself
Yep.
included. All the differences go out the window when they realize they have this sort of common ground.
Mm.
And, it's really lovely.
And you're never kind of on one emotion for the entirety. You've got, moments of sadness, moments of like real raw emotion, and then you've got wonderful moments of humor. I think one of my favorite lines is when Charlie says, "It's March in New York City. It's always colder than a penguin's pecker." And the fact that he can never remember the name of the town where Jimmy's from.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And that's the other thing, he's a wonderful character, but he's very much a New Yorker, this character, he's
Mm.
very um and that's a very old New Yorker kind of thing. Like he doesn't even want to make the effort to know the name of this podunk town in Arizona because that's not his reality.
Been doing this for nearly 3 years, and it never fails to amaze me that a play may only be 25 pages long, but the amount of give it's got is incredible. And I think this is a prime example of that. You get to there's not a page that goes by where you don't learn something or experience something from the perspective of these two.
Yes, and this play is very well done in that it's done in such a subtle way too, because
Mm.
you read a lot of plays, so I'm sure you would agree there are some that are tell us a lot in 20 pages, but they get maybe a little didactic, or there's just too much backstory, or it's just doesn't flow in a natural way. The information doesn't come to us um, in a natural way. But this play, as you pointed out earlier, it does. We as the audience learn along with the characters. We're not told, it's a great example of show don't tell, right?
Yeah.
We're not told what we're supposed to think, what we're supposed to feel. Um, it grows organically out of the characters and this very interesting situation.
Mm-hmm. If you put Charlie and Jimmy's characteristics side by side on a piece of paper, you wouldn't think there were two more different people in the world. And yet, you look at not just the situation they've currently found themselves in, but also the way they're currently dealing with things. They're both keeping huge secrets from the people they love. Jimmy hasn't told his mother that the show's closed. Charlie's daughter has no idea that her father's homeless and living in a theatre. So the more you read and the more you listen to their stories, as well as how they've both found themselves here, the more you realize that these two are a lot more similar than you first gave them credit for. And I think it's you discover that as the play goes on in a really wonderful way.
Yes. And, when I first wrote down my impressions, I wrote down that it was a Valentine to the theater, as we've been discussing. But the other word I wrote down, and I'm looking at my notes, is unexpected friendship. There is this connection. They are on the page, and for anybody looking from the outside in, these are two unlikely people to ever strike up. Even the conversation that they strike up in this situation, because but there's just on the surface there doesn't seem to be anything to connect them, and yet as the play unfolds we see all the connections, and we do realize the humanity of these characters, and how maybe how everyone, if we took the time, could connect with anyone.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a little optimistic, but
No, I do agree. I think one of the first things that I wrote down when I was making notes initially was that it did give me faith in humanity. The kind of like this initially cranky, closed off older gentleman who has lost everything apart from a daughter he cares about is willing to let his guard down and let this young man have a place to stay. And yeah, it is a wonderful example of the good that can exist in people. And that's what another thing that makes the characters feel so real is that they're what you kind of want everyone to be. People who help others as well as themselves, obviously. Okay, we are almost out of time. Robert, your final thoughts on the piece as a whole.
uh, it's a really lovely piece. It really grows on you. It's one of those pieces that um, really begs a second or third listen or a second or third read, because it's so rich, and each time you'll discover more about it. The first time through, it's entertaining and it's sweet and it's very pleasant, but a lot of what we've been talking about here, it comes through when you really read it again, listen to it again, and and that's what makes a play something more than just entertainment, and this definitely is that.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, we are very sadly out of time, Robert. Thank you so much for being here and discussing this wonderful play with me.
Well, again, thank you so much for having me. It's been my pleasure.
And that is all we have time for on this episode of Theatrical Shenanigans. I hope you enjoyed Donald's play and my chat with Robert as much as I did. If you did, make sure you tell us so with a like, share, follow or comment on our social media pages or any of the platforms you hear the show on. We will of course be back in 2 weeks with another play and another guest, so I hope you'll join us then. But in the meantime though, I've been Rachel Feeney Williams, this is Theatrical Shenanigans, bringing down the curtain and saying, I hope you can join us next time. Theatrical Shenanigans is part of an RFW Scripts production. Found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts and Podbean. Theme music is written and produced by Chris Cody.